Earlier this week, a federal judge down here in the state of Florida agreed to extend the sentencing, actually delay the sentencing, of Joel Greenberg, the former Seminole County tax collector who was at the center of the Matt Gaetz scandal. His sentencing was supposed to take place by the end of the year, but because he is being such a good cooperating witness, they have now pushed it into next year, likely around March is when they may finally get around to sentencing Greenberg for those 6 counts that he did in fact plead to, down from 33, which again is super important. But the reason the judge agreed to this is because Greenberg is giving them gold. Greenberg has given them so much information, according to the reports, that they have now found new targets to go after in this investigation. And one of the things that we learned this week was that the Secret Service itself is actually involved in part of the investigation. Part of the investigation is being conducted by the United States Secret Service. That is a massive revelation because that means somehow, some way, part of this investigation is tied to the executive branch of the United States government. Now, before you get all excited and think that, oh, maybe Trump was involved in this, hold your horses there. That's probably not what it means. I say probably because we can't say for certain. What this likely involves is the confession letter that Greenberg wrote at the end of the Trump administration, wrote a letter basically admitting that both he and Matt Gaetz had paid for sex, and at least one of the women they paid for sex was underage. She was only 17 years old. And he sent the letter to Roger Stone, begging Roger Stone to get him a presidential pardon. But he implicated Matt Gaetz in that as well. Said, me and Gaetz did these things, so we need the presidential pardon. Because of that, that is likely, again likely because we don't know for sure, why the Secret Service became involved in the first place. They need to determine, did Greenberg give any money to Roger Stone in exchange for a presidential pardon? What was exchanged between the two? What happened with all this? Was Matt Gaetz involved in any kind of pressure campaign with the former president to get a pardon? That's big stuff. It's huge in terms of this investigation. Because if the Secret Service did not have reason to believe that any of these things I've just mentioned may have transpired, they would not be involved in this ongoing investigation. But they are. They have reason to believe these things are happening, or did happen, or could have happened. So they're still investigating this. The other part of this is that I know I've mentioned, I lose optimism in the case, then the news breaks, and I finally get more optimistic again. And I am feeling a little more optimistic right now, especially after the reports saying that Greenberg has given them so much information that they have so many new leads to track down. They have so many new avenues that they have to investigate, new people that previously were not targets that are now targets. This is gold. And this helps explain why Gaetz himself has not yet been indicted. Because again, even from the confession letter, Greenberg has basically been telling us for a long time, Matt Gaetz is guilty as hell. Okay, that's what that confession letter means. Of course, it has to be investigated. Greenberg is not the judge and jury here. But we do know from information he has handed over, it seems to corroborate his story in that confession letter. So I am more confident today, after all the news of this week, that Matt Gaetz will eventually be indicted. But I also believe that Greenberg has given investigators so much more information about not just Gaetz but other people that it's taking a much longer time to go through it, to verify it, to make sure it's all true before they come out with indictments. So I do believe at this point it's going to happen, but I don't think we're going to get any serious movement on it before the end of the year. It's going to take a long time. They've got a lot of evidence to go through, thousands of emails, texts, and of course, digital payment receipts and videos that they have to go through before anybody gets arrested.